I'm not afraid to admit it. I've been pretty addicted to these dropshipping drama videos lately. And in today's video, we're going to watch yet another one in which Scott Schaefer uncovers another dropshipping scam, or potential scam actually, because we don't know yet, about Kamikoto knives. So this is Kamikoto knives. It's a knife brand. It's by the same company that did the established titles scam. However, from my perspective, I actually took a look at this store in detail. This doesn't seem like a scam to me. You know, they even say that they ship their products pretty fast. So let me show you here. Very fast shipping, 5 days after 24-hour processing. And this is a really good landing page. I mean, they do so much objection handling, very high ticket product, and it looks quite nice. But let's actually see why Scott is calling this a scam, and then we'll talk about whether or not we agree that it's a scam. So this will be a really good perspective for all of you e-commerce entrepreneurs out there, and also just an entertaining video. Let's check it out.
If you've been on YouTube at all in the past few years, you've probably seen Kamikoto knives being promoted by some of the biggest creators. Now, this brand of knives wants you to believe that they're a high-end Japanese-made product, and unfortunately, that simply isn't true. These knives deserve to be in the bargain bin of a going-out-of-business Kmart, and unfortunately, they have convinced everyone on YouTube, from people on the left, like Sam Cedar, and those on the right, like Ben Shapiro, that these are high-end knives made with the best materials that deserve a premium price.
Kamikoto makes great Japanese steel kitchen knives using traditional techniques from Japan. Each knife comes in a beautiful, heavy-duty ashwood box.
Wow.
It makes sure that the knife is...
Okay, so obviously, I don't know yet whether or not this is a scam, but this is still crazy because if it is a scam, to see Ben Shapiro promoting this is just wild. It's like, wow, do these influencers even look at the things that they're promoting or try to use them? Certainly, it doesn't seem to be the case.
Stored safely. It also makes Kamikoto a great gift.
Hi, this video is sponsored by Kamikoto knives. These are amazing Japanese steel knives. They are made using traditional techniques so they can get incredibly sharp. There's all sorts of different knives and cuts. Yeah, I know these things are amazing. If you're a part-time chef, or you take your knife works seriously, these knives are for you.
This thing is magnificent. In fact, I'm going to show you how to cut a pineapple right now. This is the most fun ad we've ever done right now. Here we go. Oh man, look at that. Normally it's kind of hard to cut a pineapple, so wow. This is making it like super easy. I'd eat it, but it's a fast day.
On top of political commentators, Kamikoto has been sponsored by hundreds of other massive creators, and there should be no surprise that many of the same people who promoted established titles also promoted Kamikoto, since both brands are owned by the same parent company, Galton Voice. Now, Galton has a history of deceptive marketing tactics, in my opinion, and their Kamikoto brand is no different. So with that being said, let's break this thing down piece by piece.
Here we go.
Kamikoto wants you to believe their knives are premium tier, made with the best steel possible. However, buried on their About Kamikoto page near the bottom, they finally show us what steel they use. Almost all of their knives, with the exception of two, which we'll get into later, use steel quality known as SUS 420J2. Now, to the average consumer, this doesn't mean anything, but with some minor research, you will quickly discover this quality of steel is considered the lowest tier out there. It's far inferior to what premium knives use, and is mostly used for entry-level products. The fact that this company is trying to pass off low-quality steel as premium knives is the first red flag. This level of steel is known to lose its edge fairly quickly and needs to be sharpened regularly to maintain the level of sharpness it has when you first buy it, which is why the company includes a whetstone with many of their packages, as they know the product will dull quickly.
I gotta say, that's a genius move on their part. I mean, it's a very simple thing, but just including a wedge stone or whatever you call it to sharpen the knife is pretty clever, because then, you know, if people say, well, this dulled so quickly, they can be like, well, we gave you a sharpening stone for free, so, you know, we're doing a great thing here. These guys are very clever marketers, obviously, and it's very interesting here to see how effective it is to use YouTube influencers for your marketing. If you have any sort of product that you can't market on Facebook ads, let's say, or TikTok ads, YouTube influencers are clearly a really good choice. Obviously, that's not me encouraging you to scam people. That's obviously scummy and pathetic. Be honest about it. If you use all these tactics to promote an actual good product, you could build a really, really valuable asset.
This company leans into the Japanese aspect of their knives very heavily. Their company name is Japanese, they say their knives are made with ancient Japanese traditions, and they use Japanese symbols on their products. However, with all this talk about Japan and Japanese traditions, they never actually say directly that their products are made in Japan, because they aren't. On their About Kamikoto page, they reference Japan 21 times and mention China only one time, where they say, fully versed in traditional blade making practices, Kamikoto's blades are handmade from Japanese Abaki steel by a select group of experienced craftsmen in Yangjiang, China, a town with over 1,000 years of knife and sword making heritage. So after all the talk about Japan, we learned their knives are actually made in China. Now before someone starts calling me racist, I want to say there is nothing wrong with a knife being made in China. There are several decent brands that come from that region.
Very good objection handling there by Scott, because in the last video, some people were calling him a racist by implying that Chinese-made goods are always bad quality. I'm glad that he addressed that, because I also think that's not true.
The point is how deceptive this company is to call these knives high quality and lead people to believe they are made in Japan, when in reality they are made in a different country with the lowest grade steel they are allowed to use. Now, Kamikoto seems to know this fact, which is why they eventually added a Japanese knife to their brand. In a line on their website, it says, Kamikoto's Ganjo series knives are handmade in Nagata, Japan, where blacksmithing can be traced back to before the Edo period. Now here's where things get really weird. If you try and find their Ganjo series knives on their main page, you won't find them. You have to search for them directly, and you will find they only have one knife in the series of knives, known as the 7-inch Santoka Ganjo. Now if you use the website Wayback Machine, which allows you to look at web pages in the past, you can see this page was added in 2019, and when it was added, it was already sold out. In fact, you can find people who have reviewed Kamikoto's website months or years in the past, and this knife is always listed as sold out. It seems to be they added a Japanese-made knife to their website so they could make the claim that at least one of their knives is actually made in Japan, but they don't actually sell this knife regularly.
These guys are evil geniuses.
From all the reviews I found online, everyone is using their inferior Chinese-made knives, and I can't find any record of this knife being sold in any real quantity. As I mentioned earlier, this company is owned and operated by Galton Voice, which is a Hong Kong-based business that also operates the scam business known as Established Titles. Now, if for some reason you don't believe me, here's the CEO of Galton Voice talking about their Kamikoto brand.
Galton Voice is a developer of direct-to-consumer brands. To talk about some of the brands that we've built already, one of them is Kamikoto. So that was one of our first successful D2C brands in our portfolio. So what Kamikoto is...
I'm no knife expert, but I gotta say they do look pretty cool. So these guys, even though they're very deceptive with their marketing, they know how to build a really nice package and, you know, just brand the product really well.
Is that it's a Japanese steel knife brand, and then create our first ad on Facebook, and then we just started scaling. So that brand, basically, we kept putting more money into different channels. So from Facebook, we expanded to Google, to print like Economist, Financial Times, to podcasts like Joe Rogan, to TV ads, essentially.
Now, what's even stranger is that Kamikoto, which we know is run by Galton Voice out of Hong Kong, claims to have an office in Tokyo, Japan. If you go to their Contact Us page and use Wayback Machine, you will find some strange information. When they first created this page, it had no address on file for nearly 2 years. It wasn't until 2020 that they updated the contact information with an actual address in Tokyo, Japan. However, after it was exposed that this address was actually the location of a hotel and not a business address, they then again changed their address to what they currently have on their website. I find it incredibly shady that a supposed premium knife company was operating out of a hotel room and then quickly changed their address once they were exposed. Now, the current address they have on file does link to an actual office building, and I tried to reach out to Kamikoto Knives about why they listed a hotel as their business address. However, Kamikoto never got back to me, and I just received an automated message. If you visit their review page on their site, you will see that the company has a 4.9 rating with nearly 1,400 reviews. If you know anything about reviews, that is incredibly hard to maintain a near perfect rating with that many reviews. If you view their Amazon page, you'll see that their rating is slightly lower, but still pretty good. However, if you do some research, you will find tons of people who have negative things to say about this brand of knives, which leads to the question of how they maintain such a high score. After doing some research, I may have found the answer. On Kamikoto's Facebook page, all the way back in December 2021, you'll find that a guy named Al left a review of their knives on their page, and then a few days later updated his review with a comment asking the company where his $50 for his review was. Now, this is in no way conclusive that they pay for reviews, but it shows a pattern of strange behavior regarding the reviews. Even on their own site, you will find the very few low-star reviews they have actually say something positive about the company despite leaving a low score. Many people have doubted the reviews over the years, and while the evidence I presented doesn't conclusively show they pay for reviews, I do find this very unusual. The final issue I want to bring up is that Kamikoto knives seem to constantly be on sale. Now, they do change the sale amount anywhere from 50 to 70% off, is what I've seen, and that is odd because most premium brands do not have a massive sale on their products. You'll never see a premium product like a Lamborghini being sold from the dealer for 70% off, or a Louis Vuitton bag being marked down by the company by 50%. Luxury brands know that people that have the money are willing to pay top dollar for their products and don't need to slash prices massively to move product.
This is actually a really good principle to learn if you are building a luxury brand, which ironically during a recession, I mean, I know this is like very unrelated to the video, but I'm trying to sprinkle in a little bit of value here. If you are building a luxury brand, this is really good to note. Don't discount your products. Continue to build up that premium brand image because there are people that will buy those products.
Kamikoto, by always being on sale, is showing that they can make a profit on their knives despite a supposed 70% discount on their prices. This shows just how cheap it is to make their knives and still make massive profits, so much so that they can spend millions a year to get some of the biggest names on YouTube to promote their knives. Now, in the end, I want to say that yes, there are many companies that operate deceptively. Kamikoto is not the only one, but I do feel their marketing and deceit about their product origin and steel quality are near the top of the deceptive list. Ultimately, creators are free to pimp whatever product they want to their subscribers, but do keep in mind if you choose to promote this product, you are helping the company deceive people into thinking they are buying premium Japanese knives, when in reality they're some of the worst quality knives you can actually get.
Okay, wow, well, pretty good video again. Scott is killing it right now, and it's so fun to watch these videos. I will say this isn't as much of a scam as Established Titles was. I mean, they are promising a lot of things that are clearly not true, but at the very least, this store right here is a really good lesson on marketing. Unfortunately, it's also a good lesson on deceptive marketing, which I'm a little bit worried now that a lot of you guys, or not a lot of you guys, but I'm sure some of you are going to take this and run with it. But I just want to say that's not good. Don't do that, okay? Stop it. Try to build a really good business. Even if you don't have the best products in the world, don't promise that you are selling the best products in the world. Be honest. Being honest is going to help you way more than deceptive marketing. That's a very short-sighted way to look at business. But I can't sit here and act like that's not how everybody begins their business. I mean, when I used to be deep into the dropshipping game, I remember hyping my products up a lot more than they really were. But it's cool to see nowadays people being honest about their products that they're selling and still being able to make it work. It's super cool. But with that said, I want to know what you guys think. As always, these videos are really fun to make. You guys are really enjoying them, so I'll continue to make them. But yeah, that's about it. See you in the next video. Peace.